Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Let's get back to work on the Ford Flivver. If you can tell by the look on my face, you know I'm trying to build a Ford Flivver. Oh yeah, we're having fun. Alright, so what I've started doing is I've started putting together the fuselage. And if the camera, and it did, works with me, it should be an easier day. Alright, the little thing, and I don't know if you guys saw that little shorts video kicked out earlier. Yeah, it's very interesting because it is 2-view, not 3-view plans, which makes it difficult to begin with because you don't have that third view, which would make it very helpful. The other problem you have is when there's items like this and they don't even come close to matching up with the plans on where the through holes go for the engine mounts. Now, granted, if you try to put the engine in off of the plans, the engine would just fall between the little horizontals to hold the engine in. So this is correct. But once again, like I said, the plans themselves are just really kind of sketchy. Now, one of the things I did work out yesterday, I'm going to move you around again. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. So let me zoom you. Zoomy zoom. Now, when looking at the plans, if you see this little teeny, probably, I don't know, it's less than a 1/16 of an inch, maybe a couple 30-seconds of an inch, which would be a 1/16 of an inch. How about that? I'm a genius. This little piece here, try to figure out why that's there but not anywhere else. Now, the question is, why would they do such a thing? Let me zoom you back out. And what this does is this goes from the two pieces that would have been put together for the exterior of the aircraft, and it looks something such like this. What this is, this little piece right here, is that little teeny wedge. So this will come on in, and this is going to be the part that's going to go down here, and then the balsa is going to glue to that. So this is part of the main structure of the forward part of the aircraft. And what's going to go up on top here, there's going to be a shelf that goes up there. Of course, you can't see it in the plans, but it does go there. Like I said, they did not do a very good job with the 2D plan. So I figured the best thing to do is let's get working on the fuselage. This up to this line right here, which is, as soon as I find a piece, this piece here will end up going into position. So this is all one piece. From here on forward, the bottom ends here, the forward part ends here, and then it comes into another piece that comes down this way, and then that gets captured in on this piece. So yeah, it's going to be, and there's a block up here on the top that actually attaches everything together, so that way it's much stronger. So we'll take care of that when this time comes. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to come on in, get these two pieces made with the uprights with the diagonals all the way up to this point, and then this is just stays the way it is because this is where this is going to come into play, and that's how that's going to be held together. So yeah, this is going to be interesting, very interesting build. So because this is, like I said, it's a strange fuselage. Never built one like this. Out of all the planes I've built, never built one like this, but we're going to give it a shot. So let me go ahead, I'm going to fire up the overhead camera, and we could do a little speedy up video with some music maybe, just so you can watch me cut these pieces out and hopefully not make too many mistakes. But I've got to go ahead and then put in another piece, which I got to find out. Let's just take all these little things out because I got to rebuild it anyway. I want to find out if it tells me exactly what type of wood goes there. And the reason why is because it's something, here, let me just do it this way. Because it's something we're going to be putting screws through. So my whole objective to this, I do have some smaller pieces of spruce. I want to see if they're going to fit in that spot. And the reason why is because I've got two of them. That's for that spot. So, yes, hopefully we got a good color light balance. Yes, this is what I've been going through. And so, because you figure it's going to be a little bit piece of a harder wood instead of balsa to run some screws through. So that's exactly what that is. Now, the other issue is this is going to have to curve. Remember, this part up front's going to curve. So I'm going to see how well, when I'm putting these two halves together, because I'm going to build the other half now, when I put these other two halves together, how well is that going to bend in with this piece? So when I put it together, what I'll probably end up doing is go ahead, get all the pieces, even the cross pieces. So it's going to be in a box. And then I've got to try to figure out how I want to glue the back section together, put the spacers in between. So I'm going to have everything where you're going to have the formers that go in between. All these formers will be set up on the inside, but I will not start to put that front former in. The front former in, which is this piece right here. So I won't be putting this in until I get everything else semi lined up, because then I'm going to be using this possibly as a clamping point. So I can go ahead, get some clamps, and then clamp it in on the top and on the bottom to pull everything, even the hardwood, in against the side of this. Oops, there we go, against the side of this. So hopefully everything will come out nicely. Okay, now I got a little out of control. After you saw what I had done with that first half, I did the second half. And then I ended up, and I'll show you, it's a little farther along. It's not as far along as I wanted it to be today, but it's farther along than it's knowing what I had to go through that I got this far. So right now it's 5:30, so it's just late afternoon, no big deal. So I still got, an hour or so probably to work today, and then I've got, Saturday, Sunday coming up. So that'll be, hopefully by Saturday I'll have the whole fuse done. So anyway, let me go ahead and I'll take you off the stand to show you where I am at and what I'm using for clamps. They're not the normal kind of clamps that you're going to see me use in the shop. But to get past the problem I need to get past, these are the clamps. Okay, those are not the clamps I'm talking about. Those are the little teeny ones. That's just to go ahead and hold this up against this this bulkhead that's going to lead up to the engine. Well, it's going to put the engine up front here. So this is normally what I jump into, which is the bigger ones. But I had to go bigger. What I had to go bigger with, and I'll show you why, I had to go with 2 lithium-ion batteries just to hold everything that I want to in the back. Yeah. So what I have to do is I've got to compress this in enough, and it's still not enough, but I've got to compress it in enough just so that I can go ahead and get this little connector going from one side to the other, glued into position. So I still got another 1/4 inch to go. It's a very tight bend right here, because this is the same size as this, and this is a little bit narrower than these two. So this is the problem. I didn't realize that this one was that same exact size, and you measure it's the same size, but to go from that size down to this size, 3.5, 4 inches away, that's a tight bend. So what I did do, and I'll be hitting this again before I go to sleep, this is hot water and ammonia. And so when you do it, be careful. Yeah, it's very odoriferous, so to speak. But anyway, so what I had to do, and I don't know how well we're going to see this, probably not too well. These two, the angle they told me to sand these at is wrong. So, you know, regardless, it's going to I'll have to work with this one. It's got the right end. It's got a 1/4 inch across, and that's what we need to have anyway. So, and I apologize for this view because I don't know how well it would even come through on this side, and it's not. So, so anyway, so what I got to do is I'm going to go ahead and, because I know that once I get this angle done, yeah, so as soon as I get this arc, the radius to arc in far enough where I can connect this together, then I don't care what's going to happen to the back, because there is no other formers after this one. I'm going to put them in, but there's no other formers after this one. So, yeah, so what I'm probably going to end up doing is getting it wet again. So I'll take this off, spray it with some ammonia, come back up, slide it all back in, and compress these two so it's a little bit tighter. And let's just see what happens. Sometimes working on an RC plane, you kind of wish you had a bat, not a stick. Where we're at right now is the fuselage is been a nightmare. No instructions. Missing at least one bag of parts. It's been a joyous 2 days. I ended up taking yesterday off. I was going to try to finish up where I'm at right now yesterday, but I had way too much personal stuff going on, and that took priority. So where we are at, and it's been a battle. I have been winning, but it's been a battle. Now, don't remember your name, but the guy that actually wrote that nice little teeny message, that he's glad that I'm not rebuilding somebody else's mistake. And I'm glad I'm not building someone else's mistake again too, because that pretty much the Fokker D7 took 1 year and 7 months to get that to the, excuse me, it was more than years, almost 3 years on that one. It was the Taylor Craft that I started in 2016. That took 1 year, 7 months, and that was somebody else's mess. And that was putting about 30 plus hours a week in on, yeah, so figure that one out. It's a good thing it wasn't your plane you wanted me to fix. Okay, so where we are at now, we've got the fuselage to that point. I'm still missing 2 of the little teeny, whatever you want to call them, the little header pieces, because this one, and I'm still not 100% on where it goes. This one here. So this one goes on top of this one right here, and I'm missing this one and this one. And according to the plans, there's something back here, right on the top here. It's got a number. It's not keyed in with any of my balsa, so I've got no idea. I'm just going to have to try to figure out how that little, what do you want to call it? The little, I don't even know what to call it. It's going to be a little teeny thing that goes all the way to the back, up on the top, because it does have a name, and I'll probably remember it in my sleep. So I got to figure out how I want to work with that one. Everything else so far on the fuselage, it has been a battle, but I have won the battle. This was the hard part. You're looking at spruce on the side, flexing that stuff. And yes, I've called it pine. It's spruce, but I apologize for that, because I'm sure I'll get a little bit of guff from it. You know, it could even be larch. There's a whole bunch of other plants that it could be. Anyway, plant trees, because this was a kit from Germany, so whatever they decided to do. The one good thing about this, where they did some early laser etching, laser cutting, The exact top is that little teeny line right there, whereas the exact bottom you can't see anymore. Oh, there it is that little teeny line. That's where it started and ended. So that's really helped me making sure that this fuselage is straight, and this fuselage is straight. So I'm good with that. Now the little things I have to do on the front, because this will be in the next video. I'm just kind of letting you know where I'm at right now. This is where the pretty much the engine's coming out the front, and then the prop's going to be on the outside. This, I've got a whole bunch of stuff I've got to try to do to get this thing to work properly, because if you look at the plans that are hanging down there, there's supposed to be another piece behind this one up against the nose. Got no idea where that piece is. Didn't come with kit. I don't know if it's the same type of wood this is, just another piece, because I highly doubt it's going to be balsa. Yeah, that's going to be very strange. So it could only be this piece, and they've just got something else in the drawings, but I really have no idea. So I'm just going to wing it, so to speak, and we're going to go from here. I got my center. That's what I'm going to cut out. That's where the pretty much the front of the engine is going to come out for the prop shaft. And this is not going to get mounted until I get the whole front of the fuselage set up for the motor, because they're showing this thing, as far as I could tell, coming straight out. I'm going to have a little bit of down and a little bit of right. So that's why I've got to try to figure out how I want to work with this when the time comes, because I still want this to be centered up front. But the way this is going to work, sorry, that's the noise. Okay, when this gets put into place, because the mounts, which are made out of, I think, oak, another kind of hardwood, it's going to sit like this, but it's also going to, if I could do it from my point of view, not yours, it's going to drop down and it's going to go this way. So I've got to make sure that there's going to be enough play in that little wooden block for it to work properly. Now, unfortunately, this wooden block, when you see this part that is structural up in the nose, you can't get underneath it to put nuts to hold it down. So it's going to be one of those weird little things. As much as I really don't want to do it, I'm going to have to use screws. And I really don't want to use screws. So if any of you guys got any ideas on how to do it, because that's not going to come up for a bit, I'll get this thing kind of sort of ready to go, even with the tail done, and then we'll start working on the wing. This I just need to be concerned about when we're getting ready to mount the motor in it. Now, before I go, because it is a holiday week, we've got Christmas coming up on whatever day that is. I know it's the 25th. The day after that, I hit the big 6-0, so yeah, wish me luck on that one. So everyone have a happy holiday, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm back in the shop.